I watched Trucker John, but I forgot to brush my teeth because I've been watching so much Trucker John show. Hey, I just want to tell everyone, make sure you watch the Trucker John channel on YouTube. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, he goes live. Have you heard about this Trucker John? He's on YouTube. He's got the Trucker John live stream going on, and you know what, man? I think it's pretty cool. You know, it's pretty cool.
The Trucker John channel on YouTube is what we watch. Yes, you must watch this show. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. in the Pacific time. I suggest you watch it. You don't want to defy me. Believe me. Oh my gosh! Trucker John's gonna be coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. By golly, that's at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, it's a Trucker John. Oh my goodness gracious, yes sir. I'm gonna watch that Trucker John. Yeah, hey, maybe you should be checking out the Trucker John show over there on the YouTube. He goes live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Trucker John is so funny. Yeah, he does live stream Tuesday, Thursday, 9 a.m.
Hey, I don't know about this one. Just watch the Trucker John show. Live stream Tuesday, Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Just yeah, I don't know about this one. Hello there. I'm here to talk to you about the Trucker John channel. It's on YouTube, and he likes to do these live streams. I don't know what's gotten into him, but I got a funny hat, I got a funny hat, a funny hat. I'm afraid this is what happens when you get a flat tire and you're waiting for the service truck to come out and fix your tire. You go on Snapchat and you can do all these filters and all these funny voices, and it's just what you do, I guess.
I watch the Trucker John channel quite frequently, but I really don't want anyone to know.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Trucker John.
Good morning. Sorry for the late start. Real late start. Let's make sure the mic's on. Mic is on. Okay, good. Looks like everything's lined up pretty well. All right, don't mess with it. Just leave it. All right, good morning, everybody. Looks like we got Jolie here. Jolie's here. Fowler's Wrath. That's probably a troll account. Probably some troll. Hey, Jeannie's here. Says hi from sunny Bay Area, California. Let's go. Midas Kevin says laughing out loud, borrowing from Hal. More like Hal borrowing from me. Actually, those filter things, I made those a couple years ago. And then you noticed that Hal started doing it, so, But hey, I consider it a compliment. They say it's the sincerest form. When someone copies you, it's the sincerest form of complimentary stuff. Anyhow, Zoom's here. Good day from sunny LA. Now, is that Los Angeles or Louisiana? I'm not sure. Okay. We all know it's not sunny in Louisiana, so. Let's see, we got Alvin Stoops here. Hey, Alvin, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Narayan Al's here. John, have you ever been on Midas Touch or PVN, or do you just know how personally? Okay, well, personally, I do not know how personally. I don't know him. I met him. I met him actually a few weeks ago at his concert. I was able to, that Nerd Halen gig they were doing. And I was able to, after the show, actually, that was the first time we really met. It was just a few weeks ago. And so I don't know him personally. And then what was part of the other question was, I've never been on Midas Touch or PVN, those bastards. They should have me on. For sure. Let's see, we got Midas Ken says, I liked the fat chin emote laughing out loud. Yeah, that's a good one. And I don't even need a filter for that. Real Bill P. Hey, Real Bill P's here. Hello to you. Thanks for coming on in. I got a late start today. I actually just overslept. Not gonna lie to you. I just overslept. Zum, Los Angeles. I know, I figured. Because, that's just because. But I thought I'd ask just to make sure. Let's see. So we got some people coming in. That's good. Jolie says like, subscribe, and share. And I agree. I second the motion. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. When you share out the show will grow. I don't know. Hey, Nick Rich is here. Like number 11. I see we got 16 watching and 13 thumbs ups. So hello, Nick Rich. How you guys doing? How y'all doing? So today is the 16th, and it is currently 67 degrees here in Las Vegas. We're supposed to reach a high, I believe, of 83 is what it said. Yes, 83. And it looks like it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day today. Now, I didn't do my walk. I should have done it on Sunday, but I just kept messing around. I was doing stuff. The day kept getting later and later, and I really did want to drive because it was kind of a busy weekend. I wanted to do the Ubering thing, and so it got to the point where I couldn't do the walk and then and have time to drive. So I went ahead and decided to make some money instead. And then yesterday I just never got around to doing it. I was thinking I would do it, maybe tomorrow. I mean, yesterday. And I still haven't done that walk. So I don't know when we're going to do it. Because I think tomorrow's Wednesday. I think tomorrow I might be out of town. I might take off, go back to California for a day. So doing the walk, I could do it today. And instead of doing the Hal Sparks, because what I was thinking about doing, since Hal's off today, he's probably going to be off today because of the Tuesday show he does down at the Whiskey Go-Go. I was thinking about doing the sit down show, but maybe we'll do a walk today in that sort of Hal Sparks time slot, maybe. So around 3. Yeah, maybe around 3. I'll try to see. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how we'll play it by ear, but maybe I'll do the next leg of that walk on the strip. Maybe today at 3. Well, it's gonna be hot though, but it's only in the 80s, so it's really not. It'll be warm. Let's put it that way. It'll be nice and warm. Probably a beautiful blue sky and everything else. So look forward to that. Hit your notification button. Make sure you know when I'm coming on and all that kind of stuff. Or you'll see when I'm coming on. Hey, Fancy's here. Never fear, Fancy's here. I am here. Yay. Let's see, who else popped in? Anybody else pop in? We got everybody saying hello to everybody, which is nice. There's Mr. Spock. Okay, we gotta do the thing, but I'm not so good at it. It looks like all my fingers are just spread out. But anyhow, live long and prosper. To Mr. Spock, thanks for being here. Ask is here. I've been listening. Well, now you're chatting. It's always good to have Ask, because Ask, the name is so fitting, because sometimes all I have to do is ask for some sort of information on a subject, and out pops the info from Ask. So there you go. So it's good to have our little own little Google machine there with Ask. All right, so guys, what's going on? We know, so we've seen Trump in the Trump trial, where the goofy-ass motherfucker can't even stay awake, apparently. And, basically what that is it's from him just being up all night, like, rage tweeting and, or shitting, I guess. And then, like, this court time, that's his probably normal sleepy time, Because when he was president, that's what he would do. As president, he would be up all night, tweeting and saying all this shit. Then he would probably, he'd probably doze off around, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning, and then sleep till like noon or something. And that was kind of documented, I think, in the White House. They keep records of that shit. Like that, he wouldn't get up until afternoon to do anything. Most presidents, they get up early, they read all the papers, they look at the news and the headlines or whatever. They have breakfast. They already had some meetings, but not old Trumpy Dumpy here. This is his normal sleep time, because he's up all night. And it's not like he's doing anything really constructive. All he's doing is just putting up these all caps tweets, all bullshit all night long. So now he has to be in court, and he's in court, and this is his normal sleepy time. And he's in there just dozing off, nodding off. But Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if he actually gets convicted? Because I think he's going to get convicted, but that he will actually go to fucking jail. That's where that motherfucker belongs, man. In jail. Nick Rich says, I watched Hal on Steph's show today. Twitch drained twice the data that YouTube does. Wow, really? I didn't even really think about that. I was watching that too. I was watching it on my phone. Because I did wake up enough to, I caught the last 40 minutes, I guess, of Steph's show. And I saw Hal in there. And then you might ask, why were you so late with starting? Well, because, it takes me a while to wake up. I can't just roll right out of bed and fire up the old phone there. So it looks like Wes Webb's here. I keep forgetting that Wes is invisible. Yeah, you probably would forget that because you don't, it's not like you're looking at yourself or whatever. Nick, Mad Max here. Hey, Mad Max, Slava Ukraini. Slava Ukraini. Fancy's here. They're saying hello to Mad Mac. Mad Max says, anybody see Wes? I think he's invisible, laughing out loud. Yeah, we can't even see you because you're invincible. Did I say invincible? You might be invincible, but you're also invisible. Wes Webb, John has Wes blocked something about Bruce. Well, I see Wes Webb, so I don't know. I don't know how many accounts you have. Maybe you're talking about one of your other accounts. Jolie says, I don't care where he goes, speaking of Trump, just as long as he goes. Amen. Naranyel says, how can Hal be so confident that Trump will lose all the time? Because he reads a lot about, polling and what the sentiment is, I guess, of the electorate. Nick Rich, low end data plan, got to be careful. Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to really, I guess you really do notice when the data is getting gobbled up. Say out here, holy crap, it's Trucker John. Well, holy crap, right back at you. Thanks, Seha, for being here. Midas Kevin says, Fancy, he cried. Oh, talking to Fancy. Not like Fancy. He cried because not see son graduate. Boo hoo. And actually, I don't even know if that was actually finalized, like if the judge actually said no yet, but on that. But it's just another talking point for Trump, to go out and say, this judge is so mean to me. Since Wes Webb is invisible, I'm not reading any of his chats out loud because he's invisible. How can you read someone's chats that's invisible? Fancy says, I saw that, but judge didn't tell him he couldn't go. He said he would think about it. Yeah, see, that's what I was just saying. Mad Mac, I would like him to go to G 6 feet under, and you know who I'm talking about. I think I do. I have an idea of who you're talking about. Ask says, Trumpy spent the night in Trump Tower last night. I think he should be sent to the penthouse for life like Rapunzel, never allowed to cut his hair. Well, he would have one hell of a comb over for his comb over. Just put him on house arrest in the Trump Tower, but I think they need to take away all of his internet access. You don't get to live cushy in your Trump Tower and have internet access where you keep spewing your shit. Mad Max says, Seha is very religious. Even his crap is holy. Yeah. That is religious. Sehel says Trump never went to any of his kids' graduations, but now all of a sudden, Mad Mac, or is it Holy? Laughing out loud. I don't know the difference. I mean, anyhow, skipping that. I don't read invisible people's chats. Nick Rich says Mr. Webb or Rev Webb. Oh, Big Hook. Big Hook's here. Dirt Nap and Mac. Hey, Big Hook, Big Hook. That reminds me. Okay, I think I kind of owe Big Hook an apology, because the other day we had this thing about 10K, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even catch it because until I watched back. I was watching a replay of the thing. I just kind of watch and just to. It's not like I have to watch myself. I love watching myself. But I watch I do a replay, watch the replay just to see how it came out and, whatever. So I'll skim through it. But I didn't even realize that I kept saying 10,000. I was actually saying like 10,000K. And Big Hook just said, hey, 10,000K, that would be blah, blah. And but in my mind, I kept thinking I was saying 10K. And there is a big difference. And I kind of got into it with them, and so I apologize, Big Hook. You were right. I was saying 10,000K, and I meant to say 10K. But for some reason, what my brain was thinking and what was coming out of my mouth, and then what my ears were hearing, apparently, they were all different things. I think it's a real party in here, and with all my personalities or whatever. But anyhow, so Big Hook's here. Good to see you. Mad Max says that G was supposed to be go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Let's see. Mad Max says, Mr. Spock says, I got my taxes done today. It cost me a free range chicken, not a free range chicken, but a free range chicken. Hey, Jackie's here. Hi, Trucker John. Hi, everybody. Hello, back at you, Jackie. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming by. Keith Polite's here. Happy 30th anniversary to Space Ghost. That's a very funny cartoon. I like that cartoon. I haven't watched it in years and years and years, but I remember I thought it was always funny. Let's see here. Nick Rich Barter talking about the taxes getting done with the chicken. I just have a chicken do my taxes. Big Hook says, no worries, John. We all have those days. Well, thanks, Big Hook. Let's see. Mr. Spock, I was saving the last chicken from last year to pay for it, but I discovered another one in the deep freezer. Ooh. Ask 1 and 0 in certain places. Right. Say ha. 00000. Okay, that's a lot of K's. Yeah, that would be a lot of K's. That was the whole thing. That was the whole point of the whole thing. Kevin Anderson says Jackie and enfant equal huggable, lovable, so cute. What's enfant? Enfant. I don't know. Darian L says, or is that E? No, it's L. I thought maybe it was like E. No, L. Okay. I think I was too young for Space Ghost. I only remember the Adult Swim version. Well, I think that's the only version I saw. Was there another version? Oh, yeah, yeah. If you go back 30 years, was that before Adult Swim? Must have been Cartoon Network, right? Or something. Oh, Jackie and Fancy. Okay, it's Midas is Fancy. I should have figured that one out. Zum Zum. Got to check out for a morning walk with moms. Have a great show. Well, thank you, Zum Zum, for being here. If you have earphones, you could listen to that on your walk. But have a good walk with your mom. That's really nice. Sounds like a nice time. So have a good time. And we'll probably be here a couple hours. So maybe when you get back, we'll still be here. Big Hook says, hi, Jolie, my Hoosier Hoser. Hey, take off, hey? And boy, lots of people just saying hello to everybody. Speed Racer, that was a cartoon from going way back. I wasn't into that too much, but I remember that one. I just thought Space Ghost was funny because it's, you know, sort of like the kind of absurdity, you know, like type of humor where it's like a, you know, kind of like a superhero type of person, but who just is kind of stupid, you know, or you know, I don't know. This is a kind of funny thing. Kind of like Archer too. I think Archer's funny. It's kind of that absurdity. This like supposed to be this top-notch, you know, spy, but you know, is really kind of socially unaware. I think you could say. Maybe I don't know. Midas Kevin says Space Ghost Coast to Coast and the Brack Show. Yeah. Maybe I'm just thinking of Space Ghost Coast to Coast and the Brack Show. I don't know. Bad Matt Go Speed Racer. Go. Yeah, I remember that cartoon. Very anime, right? Type of a deal. And then I remember the movie came out. Was that like 10 years ago or so? How long has that been? I was trying to think of the last movie I've seen because I picked up a passenger last night. I was doing Uber, and he had just come from the movies, and he saw that new Civil War movie. I think it's called Civil War, and it's not based on the old Civil War, you know, from the 1860s, but it's a fictional movie about like if a Civil War happened like right now, I guess, like in contemporary times. And I did see the trailer. I thought it looked pretty interesting. And so he said he said it was pretty good. He enjoyed it, but we didn't talk about it because I don't want any spoilers, you know. But then it had me thinking, like, what was the last movie I've actually gone to? And then the only thing I can think of is the Barbie movie, and that was like, you know, last year, right? Last summer or something. And I'm trying to think I think haven't I been to the movies since the Barbie movie? I can't remember. Maybe you guys remember if I mentioned it, but I can't remember. I guess I didn't go to the movies very much last year because I think I only went a couple times last year, and I think the Barbie movie was the last movie I saw in a movie theater, you know. Let's see. Nick Rich, clutch cargo, lips moving. Seha, what was the one with the talking dune buggy? Oh yeah, I remember that one. I think there's been a few talking dune buggies. But yeah, I can't remember the name of that. But I think I remember that one. Keith Fleet says, yes, it is Kevin Anderson. Brack is my hero. Big Hook says, kind of like how Cosby Show lost its luster after his criminality revealed. Oh yeah, that changed everything, didn't it? I don't know how that's kind of like, what the kind of like thing is what we're referring that to, but or what we're comparing that to. But yeah, I mean, I never really was a big fan of the Cosby Show anyhow, because I remember watching it. It was kind of cute. You know, the little girl was kind of cute. And then, you know, Cosby and what's her name? Felicia Rashad or Jackson Brown or whatever her name is. You know, I mean, I understand. Yeah, it was all right, but I guess it was just way too cute by half for me, maybe. I don't know. And I never really got into that, but I did like Cosby. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I knew all along, because I didn't. But I remember, growing up listening to Cosby records, comedy records, because we had them in our house and we would listen to them. You know, and I remember I Spy. I loved that show, I Spy. I was like, 6 years old, or I was a little kid, and I loved, Robert Culp and and Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby was cool. He really was this like cool dude, you know. And then he had another Bill Cosby show. It wasn't the one like the one everyone knows, but he had another show where he was like a PE teacher. It wasn't like filmed before a live audience. It was like, you know, filmed or whatever. But I think he lived on a houseboat in a marina or something. I don't know, or maybe not. But he always came off as this really cool dude, you know. And then, but then when that Cosby show, the Cosby show with, you know, the family one came out, I was kind of, I think that was when I'm trying to remember what year that came out. It might have been after high school, but you know, I was just into partying, and I wasn't into staying home and watching Cosby on whatever night that came on. I was usually out partying or something, or out with friends or whatever. So I never really got into that. But I did watch a few episodes. It was the number one show, I think, and it was you know, on for years and years and years. So how could you not at least see one show? So I know I probably watched, you know, a half a dozen episodes of that show over the course of its existence. And it was a cute show, but I never really was into it at that point, you know. Talia 411 says, just saw Ghostbusters. Is that out already? Or are you talking about the original Ghostbusters? Because there's a new one coming out, right? Did it already come out this year? And I want to see that. I do want to see that. And there's also a new Planet of the Apes coming out, I think next month. I want to see that for sure too, because I'm pretty much a Planet of the Apes fan. Oh, Marianne L says Coast to Coast was the comedy one. Never saw the original, so I guess maybe I just was watching Coast to Coast or something. Mad Max says, I hated Clutch Cargo with those moving lips. Freaked me out. Mad Max, haven't been to a theater since before COVID. I went to the theater during COVID all the time. I just wore my mask. And I was boosted. I was vaxxed and boosted when that came, as soon as that came out. And the theaters were pretty empty. So there was lots of social distancing going on. But I did go to the theaters probably more then than I am now, for some reason. Fancy Herbie the Love Bug. That was a movie, but there was a cartoon that with the Dune Buggy. Midas Kevin says, anybody seen the Hulu cartoon Jellystone? I have not. Myself. Fancy said, I saw it listed, Kevin. So I guess you didn't watch it. And then Fancy says, it's a movie, Talia. Just saw Ghostbusters. Yeah, it's a movie. But they did have a cartoon Ghostbusters too, didn't they? Did they come out with a cartoon? Keith Police says, Space Ghost was a Hanna-Barbera Saturday morning show in the late 60s, early 70s. Oh yeah, that's right. Space Ghost Coast to Coast was an Adult Swim in the 90s. So I guess I do remember the 60s one or 70s. And I remember watching it as a kid, but I never really got into that either. So I think I watched a few episodes or whatever. And so I guess the one that I really think about is the more current one on Adult Swim. And it's just funny, you know. It's just because it's funny. It's like, yeah, he's a superhero, but then he's just like doing like a talk show or something. So it's pretty funny. Sayal says, I think it was Speed Buggy came on after Jabberjaw's The Shark AH Saturday cartoons. Yeah, that sounds right. Speed Buggy. That sounds familiar. My description says, did you hear Woody Woodpecker is doing a live action movie? I did not hear that. Talia 411. I know it's a movie. The question was its name. Oh, I guess did I miss your question? Because I saw that you just said you saw Ghostbusters. Anyhow, I can't go back. But or I'll spend all day scrolling. Fancy says Grape Ape was funny. Nick Rich says my parents never had favorite TV shows, but they loved the radio. Really? Wow, that's going back. It's going back a ways. There's Tim Farrell. Hey, Tim Farrell, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining today's Tuesday Talk, where we just talk. Of course, that's all we ever do is just talk. Yeah, the new Ghostbusters. Yeah, the new one. So, but is it out yet? Is it already come out? Because I need to go see that. I want to go see it because I saw the trailer and I thought it looked pretty interesting. Because it has the original Ghostbusters, except for Ramis, of course, who has passed away. But it's not like the other ones that have come out where they're not even in it. And I thought that was really stupid, like the one they did with the ladies, where they just like did a complete reboot, and it was almost like they weren't even related or had anything really to do with the original Ghostbusters. And I thought that was kind of stupid. I thought they should have been. I thought they should have been like the daughters of the Ghostbusters, carrying on the business. I think that would have been a better premise than the way they did it with like. And there was just a real slight sort of reference to the originals, I think, if I remember correctly. And then they even had Bill Murray in it, just playing some rando dude, not even, you know. So this one here, the new one that's coming out, is actually got the originals. It's got, you know, and it has newer cast people. So that's why I'm interested in this one. Tim Farrell says, I heard the latest Omen movie was very good, if scary is your thing. Oh, I think I do remember seeing some sort of trailer for that. And then I just forgot about it. The Omen. You know, it's like, I'm not really into those kind of movies. But, you know, there could be some good ones. Tally411 says, Adass, best memories watch Planet of the Apes from the 60s. Yeah, I love the 60s ones, but I love all of them, really. But I still love the 60s ones, even though they're relatively kind of low budget in a way, but also all those prosthetics they were using, all those, you know, the costumes, that was kind of like the state of the art of makeup and costuming and stuff. But sometimes you watch like the battles, if there's battle scenes or stuff like that, and you're going, man, this could be done way better nowadays, you know, but and be more realistic, but still you're just like, who cares? It's just fun to watch, you know. Big Hook says, Animaniacs is still my favorite as an adult, but the Warner Brothers cartoons with Bugs, as in Bugs Bunny, Daffy, Elmer, Foghorn Leghorn, Speedy Gonzales, Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote were my childhood favorites. Yeah, that's pretty much my rundown. I've watched all those. Carrie C, did I not see Carrie C? Hey, there's Carrie C. Oh, hello, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Say it's out. So the new Ghostbusters. God dang it, I better get in there before it goes to streaming. Because I like going to the movies, but like I said, I don't think I've gone to one since, unless I did a couple of those, because there are those, they have these $5 mystery movies. I may have gone to one of those after that, but I don't even remember. So it just shows you, you know, how good it might have been. Ty411, I love that they were just Ghostbusters. The new one was a bit boring. Huh. Well, that's disappointing to hear. As says, I love the TV show Planet of the Apes 2. First episode date, December 13th, 1974. Yeah, I remember I used to watch that, and I think, didn't it only last like one season or something, which is unfortunate. Would have liked to have seen a few seasons of that, you know. Midas Kevin says, Mad Mac in the new Jellystone, it has half the cast of Hanna-Barbera any cartoon. Jellystone. Wes Webb says, oops, I wasn't going to read any of that invisible person's things. But apparently it's 10 degrees warmer than my downstairs. The upstairs is warmer. Keith Lee says, Space Ghost Coast to Coast is currently streaming live on YouTube. Curiously strange. Or gloriously strange. And maybe even curiously. Fancy says, Pinky and the Brain was good too. Oh yeah, I watched through that. That was a funny, one of the funny ones, right? Alvin Stoop says, must be a new Predator coming out. Been playing them on FX. Really? A new Predator, huh? Big Hook, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Adam West is just here. Just not a lot of patience for fiction these days. Some weird brain issue, maybe. It's like I know it's not real and I immediately fall asleep if it's not divided up into short chunks of like miniseries. That could be a weird brain issue. I don't know. Well, okay, Invisible Person, I'm not reading Invisible People's chats. Tally411, Trucker John, if you like the old Busters, you'll love the new one. I did not. Well, I love the old one, so that's encouraging. Then I'll love the new one. I did not like the one with the ladies. I thought that was stupid. And then the one with the kids, like the Stranger Things kids, or the kid that wasn't he in it in one? I didn't even see that one. And like wasn't Paul Rudd in it? I didn't even see those ones. They did one or two. They might have done one or two. So I feel like I need to catch up on those, but for some reason I missed those. But this one definitely looks like a throwback to the originals, and the originals are the best. Let's be right up front about that. Adam Marshall says, Felix and Scooby-Doo, Jimmy the Genie, Bewitched as a kid. Oh, so now you're mixing cartoons with TV shows, like live-action TV shows. Walter Makarovich is here. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Walter. Jolie says, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, but not Scrappy. Walter Makarovich, Johnny Quest, 1964 Forever. Johnny Quest was one of my all-time favorites. I mean, first of all, I had my name, and when I was a kid, everyone called me Johnny. So, it was Johnny Quest. And then he was just cool. Him and Haji, and the bandit, the dog, the cute little dog with the circle over his eye, and his little bark. And they would do these kick-ass adventures. They were like kids doing like kick-ass adventures, So of course you're gonna love that show. Any especially a boy, a boy named Johnny is gonna love that show. So yeah, that was one of my favorites. All time. Nick Rich says, I was in 4th grade when Batman first came to television. 4th grade. I remember Batman. What grade was I in? It seems like it was before 4th grade for me, but maybe not. I just remember, I was young. I was in elementary school, and I remember watching Batman, and of course I loved it. Suzanne's here. Says, good afternoon, everyone. Suzanne Frisepi, thanks for being here. Good to see you, Suzanne, in the chat. We're just chit-chatting, having some morning coffee, and talking about movies, apparently. Adam Marshall says, time for a Scooby snack. Whips out foot-tall sandwich from abandoned amusement park kitchen. Suzanne Frisepi, smash the like button, please. Well, thank you for that reminder, Suzanne. Yes, smash the like button if you haven't already done so. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. And if you hit the share button, share the show out. That would be really, really super awesome. Adam Marshall says, second Batman color one. Weren't they all in color? Were there black and white ones? Talia 411, what about Poor Things? Is that a witch movie? One of those witch movies? Not sure if I'm familiar with that one or not. Fancy says, I have a tattoo that says Johnny. Well, there you go. So, laughing tears of joy, it looks like. I don't know. Mad Max says, I like Tom Slick in the Thunderbolt Grease Slapper. Tom Slick in the Thunderbolt Grease Slapper. Was that one about the, what was it called? Where they did the race? They were always doing the race and all the cars and stuff. Say how binge watched Fallout. Oh, don't talk about Fallout, please. No spoilers. I'm going to start watching that as soon as I'm done with Fear the Walking Dead, which I have one episode to go. And then I'm going to start Fallout. Now, the other day I had some passengers in the car that started talking about Fallout. And then I was like, no. I was like, no, I can't hear you. I can't hear it. They're like, oh, yo. They immediately got it. They're like, oh, you haven't watched it yet. Okay, sorry. I go, yeah, don't spoil it. I haven't started it yet. And they're like, yeah, you're going to like it. They just go, yeah, it's a pretty trippy show, but it's a pretty good show. So, yeah, for sure, I'm going to watch Fallout next. Nick Rich, 1965, lots of great TV. Adam Marsh just says, haven't seen the Dark Knight series of movies, though heard they're all the best ones. Yeah, those are pretty good. Pretty good. Alvin Stoop says, I met Burt Ward when I was a kid. Oh, Robin, yeah. Jolie says, Trigger John channel has memberships and super chats. Yes, we do have that. And you can buy me a coffee over there. Buy me a coffee. Because you know I like my coffee. Especially out of my Las Vegas mug. That's chipping, probably lead-based paint. I don't know. Adam West just says the first Batman was black and white. Oh. Like the Adam West one? With Adam West? I just thought we had a black and white TV. I don't know. Mad Max says, I didn't like the ghoul knifing the dog. Okay. I said no spoilers. If that's about Fallout, I asked very nicely. No spoilers, please. Talia411 says, for TV, The Hulk on Fridays and Bionic Man and Woman. Oh yeah, I love those shows. I watched all those too. Those were awesome shows. Fallout was a fun game series. Yeah, I know it's another one of those shows based on a video game. Big Hook, the Batman animated series of late are all awesome. I hear that a lot, but I don't really watch the animated series for some reason. And some of those might even be better than the live action movies. You know? But I guess I'm just more of a movie person than I am a, cartoon person. Adam West says, yeah, I think the first couple Adam West ones were black and white too. First Batman was a bigger guy with longer ears. Like, when was that? I mean, was that the same era as the Adam West one, and then they just replaced him with Adam West, or was that back in the 50s or something, or whatever? I mean, I don't know, because I know they had a Superman series in the 50s, right? Speaking of George Reeves, speaking of that, Nick Rich says George Reeves as Superman is funny today considering what special effects are available. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's a huge difference. Yeah. Walter McCarovich says Bionic Man and Bionic Woman versus Bigfoot was a priceless episode. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't. Say, I said, Mad Mac laughing out loud. Okay, I'm not reading these. If you guys are going to start talking about spoiling Fallout, I'm going to delete your chat. God damn it. Animal says, seen a few minutes from animated Batman. Writing is very good. The gay guy who voiced him, died recently. Yeah, I didn't know he was a gay guy, for one thing. And yeah, he was sort of iconic. Like all, especially all the, the fans of the show. I mean, that's a devastating blow. I only saw a few screenshots from the 1950s. So the show you're talking about, other than the first couple Adam West ones being black and white, I guess you're talking about something from the 50s? Big Hook says Lone Ranger in black and white was part of my childhood. I remember black and white. I remember Lone Ranger in black and white. Yeah, because during the 60s there was a transition where everything went from color, then all of a sudden everything started going to black and white. I mean, wait, reverse that. Everything went from black and white, and then somewhere around like the mid 60s or whatever, everything started going into the color. So it was kind of weird. Like, now to think back, because we just think, like, especially like, I guess if you thought about the 50s shows, like I Love Lucy or whatever, those are all black and white. But then when you start thinking about the 60s and the mid 60s, you just kind of think everything is in color. But that was sort of a transitional time where things were, in fact, there were even black and white Bewitched, right? There were black and white. I think there was black and white. My favorite, my was it my Martian? What was the one? My Favorite Martian. What was that called? That was a Bill Bixby show, right? Pre Hulk. Those were black and white. A lot of these shows were black and white, but I think sometimes when you think about them, or maybe it's just me, I kind of think about it being in color because I'm so used to TV shows being in color. But a lot of those shows were still in black and white through the mid 60s. They were still transitioning over from black and white to color. Maybe they still had a lot of black and white film they had to use up because I think they were just using film, right? Tally411 says, I'm a movie person too, but Spider-Man cartoon was so well done. Multiverse. Well, I used to watch, I don't know if you're talking about, I think you're talking about the newer cartoons, and I've seen some of those, and those are pretty well done. But I really love the old original, original cartoon from the, I guess it was late 60s into the early 70s, I guess, maybe. I really liked, I remember that's what I was watching when I was a kid. And I like those. Adam West says Chris Reeves, Superman. Chris Reeves in the movies, yeah, but on the TV show it was George Reeves. And they're not related apparently. Just a coincidence. Big Hook says Mark Hamill voices the Joker. Oh yeah, that's right. Does a good job on that one. Nick Rich, nostalgia, endless topics. Julie says, same Big Hook. Watched it with my dad, that and Tarzan movies. I remember Tarzan movies. And there was a Tarzan TV show, I think. Tally 411, West Webb. Oh, The Invisible Person. Now we have 55-inch TVs, crazy. Yeah, and you can get 55-inch TVs like for cheap now. I mean, it wasn't too long ago when it seems like even just like I don't know, 40-something inch. I remember going into like even like Sam's Club or Costco, and those things would be like $5,000 or something. Remember, or even like Best Buy or something. But then the TVs kept getting bigger and bigger, and the prices were coming down. So now you can get a 55-inch, probably. I mean, depending on how good it is or whatever. But you probably get one for less than $1,000 now. Adam says, "Oh, that's right, I forgot." I guess that was about the Reeves thing, maybe. I don't know. Nick Rich says, "This cell phone of mine is my TV." And that's an amazing thing. Like, I'm doing this show off of my my iPhone. Just right here. I'm pointing at it. That's where the camera's coming up. And I do watch a lot of stuff, especially when I was in the truck. Either on this phone or on this iPad, which is right below me, right below this camera is my iPad. And I've watched so many, especially on the iPad because it's a bigger screen. But I've watched so many episodes of like The Walking Dead and watched movies and on an iPad, you know. And just think of that. I mean, how like when I was a kid in the '60s, this would be like, you know, way far out futuristic stuff, which it is if you think about it. That's 50, 60 years ago, but we've come a long way, baby. Come a long way. Big Hook says the funny part of Animaniacs was watching the credits as there was lots of Easter egg comedy bits for those paying attention. Adam West says hormones raging, grandparents started to wonder why their grandson was obsessed with Tarzan and Greystoke. Oh boy. You had a stern in your loins, did you? Seha says DJT 3.8, 14% today, minus 3.8. So yeah, that stock is dropping like a rock in an ocean, in a lake. And I just heard that I guess it was yesterday, his lawyers, I guess you have to put in a request with the SEC if you want to, I guess distribute or put out more stocks. And they wanted to put out like a couple million more or a couple 100 million more stocks or something like that, just to try to get a temporary, boost of people buying these new stocks or something. But even if they did that, is anyone really going to buy now? I mean, it's anyone who would buy that stock, especially now after seeing how it's performed, I would say would be a fool. Adam Welch says, all of my devices and PC pretty much dead. This tiny phone is my only reliable screen. Wow. Well, that sucks. Everything's dying. What, you just don't have chargers? I know your living conditions are a little sparse, I think. I don't know if you have the ability to have chargers and stuff, but hang on there, Adam. Hang on with your deal there. Nick Rich says, don't knock the camera over before you do some filters. Okay, Nick. Nick wants me to do some filters. Anon's here. I was born to truck. Hey, Anon, good to see you. Are you a driver? If so, where are you at? What you driving? Where you at? Sehal had a message retracted. I have a feeling it might have been a spoiler on what I said not to spoil. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Adam says, gee, it's almost as if the price was artificial. No, I don't think it's that. I mean, maybe there is that, but new technology when it comes out, it's always expensive. And I think it has to do with the scale or with the, when they're first putting things out, where maybe they don't make as many because they're not sure of the popularity. And then once it starts selling, like gangbusters, then they just make like 1 billion of them. And then that brings the prices down, I think. Very, very, very scientific explanation there. Adam says, the swamp moisture killed my video cards and stuff. Oh, man, the moisture. Fuck. Yeah, you need to get demoisturized. Suzanne says, Seha Drump is zilch nada. That's almost like a double negative. Adam says, oh, I already read that one. Fancy's got the convoy going. Thanks for that convoy. Big Hook says Gingerbread Man is the best. Adam says plus the floods and lightning. You were just at a place that does not seem to be very conducive to electronics. Perhaps. Suzanne says, Jolie, tell Wes good afternoon to him. Anand says, no, I've never driven a truck in my life, but the feeling is there. I yearn for the long, lonely roads. Okay, Anand, well, if you're able to, go get yourself, go to a truck driving school, get your CDL, and get out of there on the road and give it a shot. Might be. I did it for about 20 years, and it had its ups and downs, good and bad. But overall, I enjoyed it. I got to see the whole country, Adam West just says, I have the computer built into the ceiling now, and the place is protected from the stuff now. Well, that's pretty inventive. Put it in your ceiling. I never thought of that. Jolie says, Westwood, I thought you unblocked Suzanne. She says to tell you good afternoon. Suzanne says it rains every day in Hawaii, what I hear. And I think that's pretty true. Maybe things have changed since I was there. It's been like over 30 years since I was there. And I remember it was right there on Waikiki Beach or Oahu, because we explored pretty much the entire island of Oahu while we were there. And it would be really nice and beautiful, and it would be usually in the 70s, the temperature, and it felt great. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if it ever hit 80. It might have hit 80, but it seems like it was always in the 70s. Beautiful out. The water was great. But every day, it seemed like clockwork, like 2:30 in the afternoon or something, it would rain. But it was just like usually just a light little rain, just kind of come in, wet things down, cool things off a little bit, and then it would go away after about a half an hour. But we were there for a week, and I think every day, that almost the same time every day, it rained for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then go away. And it wasn't like a big giant downpour, but it wasn't just a mist. It was like a light little rain, and it was nice. I liked it. Big Hook says, for me, technology is based on my needs as opposed to latest greatest. Storage and the memory and the super duper battery life are my prerequisites. Yes, especially the battery life. That's the big one. Seha says, we're going to dump to $1 fast. Suzanne, I'd rather be nice. Suzanne and the earthquakes, too. Pisces Greeter's here. Hey, hello, Pisces Greeter. I see you. I see you, Pisces Greeter. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by as we just shoot the shit. We're just relaxing, kicking back, having a little talking a lot about movies and cartoons and black and white shows and all kinds of stuff. Let's see here. So we've got a lot of greetings going on. When Pisces Greeters gets in here, the greeting part is really, you can see that part. So yeah, that's all going on. Just hellos and hellos and hellos. Suzanne says Hawaii is very active. Mother Nature rules. It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. I kind of blew that line. Guys, do you guys remember that? Wasn't that was that an ad or a PSA? Where she would come out and it would be like lightning bolts and stuff, and she'd be like, it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. It was kind of creepy. Big Hook, Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins. Anyone? Yes, of course. And how could I forget his sidekick? And now I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Fowler. And my name is Fowler, in case you didn't know that. I know I'm just Trucker John, but my last name is Fowler. And the guy that would do all the dirty work for old Marlon, which I don't mind. The guy's an old guy. You can't do a lot of shit when you're old. So he had the younger, big strapping dude, and it was like Tim Fowler or Joe Fowler. Not Joe Fowler, but whatever his name was. And yeah, Jim Fowler, says Nick Rich. That was his sidekick, and he would go out, like Marlon would go, "There's the alligator there. You don't want to get too close to them. And hey, Jim, why don't you go show them, Then Jim's running out. I'm gonna fuck up that alligator, Big Hook says, is Fowler English or Irish? It's English, I believe. Even though I'm like, my mom always said I'm half Irish, half Norwegian, but I've got somehow English, German, French, and Native American in there. So the math doesn't quite add up, because that would put me over 100%. But math was never a strong point with my mom. But anyhow, I guess the point is that I guess I got a lot of Irish blood on my mom's side, a lot of Norwegian blood on my dad's side, but it's not half. It's not 50-50. It's probably like a quarter of each of those. And then the other half is all kinds of Heinz 57. But I believe that Fowler is English derivation. It means the keeper of the fowl for the castle was the Fowler, who would take care of the chickens and the turkeys and whatever else they ate, the pheasant. That was the Fowler's job, was to keep those birds there and get them ready for their feasts. They're Cornish game hens, I guess. Adam says, Seha, I have to find an RTX 2080. Okay, you guys are getting into jargon, and that's over my head. Fancy says, have you done your ancestry, John? I have not. I've been wanting to do that, like what's that one, Me and 23 or whatever? I have not done that. Big Hook says, Heinz 57 immigrant then. Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Probably my mom's side were immigrants from Ireland, I guess. And on my dad's side, I know my grandmother, Grandma Martha, I think she was born in Norway. And then they came over when she was a little girl. Real little young girl, like the turn of the century, of last century. So yeah. Nick Rich says, Jim Fowler was on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show numerous times. Oh yeah, I remember that. And once they are out there, I'm a NVIDIA guy. NVIDIA guy. He's a NVIDIA guy. Seha says, I've got a few small RTX cards. Nothing that big. Big Hook says, my last name is Dutch and means cornerman, which I think is related to brickwork. Yeah, I think so. There was a corner guy that he specialized in the corners because the corners are really tricky. You probably got to make special cuts. Like the guys that are doing the middle, they're just like, they're just doing the brick. But then when it comes to the corners, it takes a specialized thing. You got to make sure it all fits together. And so there you go. Paisha Greeter says, I was told yesterday by someone that they and people do not like that I just greet and that I do not add to the conversation. That was on House Sparks. Oh. Well, to those people, I say, go fuck yourselves. You do you, Pisces greeter. You're a good greeter. You make everyone feel welcome, and so fuck those assholes. Adam says, Seha, do you think you have a 2080 somewhere? Blah, blah, blah. You guys are talking about computer stuff. Adam Washington says, Dutch here too. Our name means plump. There you go. Mad Max says, that person doesn't speak for us all, Teresa. Just keep doing it the way that you like and prefer. We all like seeing you say hi to us. Yes, I agree. Makes you just feel very welcome, you know, wherever we go. Carrie says, I saw that. Many people got angry at that person. Nick Rich, my last name, no idea. Patrick says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Fancy says, I like Pisces Greeter. I think we all do. Big Cook says, lots of love here for you, Teresa, and on Randy Rhodes. Only here. We don't love anyone on Randy Rhodes. We only love people here in the Trucker John live stream. I'm just kidding. I love Randy Rhodes. I've been watching Randy Rhodes, either listening or watching, since 2004. All right, so there you go. Because what do you think this is? This ain't no soft cookie. No, this is a tough cookie right here. You want to come in, give me some shit? Well, this tough cookie ain't gonna take it. I think my eyebrows did kind of move a little bit. I'm trying to make my eyebrows move, but all I can do is blink and go, oh. The eyebrows do slightly move. They do slightly move, yes. I think they do. They slightly move. Beep, 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 beep. All right, you guys are a bunch of knuckleheads. That's all I got to say about that. All right, Cookie, calm down. Calm the fuck down, Cookie. Don't come in here with all your tough guy bullshit, all right? Pastor says, I noticed that person who complained, I only agreed on chats, is not anymore on the chats. And West, do you know the Muffin Man, Mad Mac, Mr. Bill? It resembles Mr. Bill, but it's not. It's Cookie. It's Tough Cookie. Move your hands. Is that part of Prism? Yes, WW, that's part of Prism. What do you mean move my hands? Does it do something if I move my hands? No, it doesn't really do anything. I got a nice shaped cookie head here, all right? I think it's a beautiful cookie head. You don't have to like it, but I like it. He likes it. Apparently, Mr. Tough Cookie Head is in love with himself, apparently. I don't know. Laughing Out Loud, Spock says, Laughing Out Loud, whoa was... Then let out a deep squawk. I think, was that Wiley? I don't know. Say, how's the Trucker John? Did you hear about the one scene in the Fallout? Say, please stop. Please stop. I know you're fucking with me. WW says, my mom's maiden name is Dutch. So did you just call her Dutch? Hey, Dutch. And she's like, I'm your mother. Don't talk to me. You call me mother. And you're like, yo, Dutch. Bring me my food, Dutch. She's like, what the hell's gotten into this boy? It's gingerbread from Shrek. No, it's not. Prism doesn't have copyright, the money to buy that. It's not. It's Tough Cookie. It's whoever I want it to be. I want it to be Tough Cookie. Nick Rich, you got to try everything. I'm not trying everything. Mike Mad Mac, he likes it. Hey, Mikey. I remember those commercials. Let's get Mikey. Big Hook. Although your green screen is showing the back of your head is translucent. It is doing a weird thing. I think it has to do with the mesh of the hat. Because it's not green. There's no green in there. But it is weird. I did notice that. You can see my brains. You can see a big empty spot where my brain should be. MJ Daniels here. Hey, good shows though. Never played the game. Please don't talk about it. I implore you. Please don't talk about it. Let's see. WW says, can't say the name because it might be the answer to a security question, but I has to do with birds also. Oh. Like Raven? I don't know. Hey, there's Terry Taylor. Saying hi to Jolie. I guess screw the rest of us, but hey. No, I'm just kidding. Good to see you, Terry. Thanks for dropping by. I haven't seen Terry Taylor in the chat in a while. Been a minute, as the kids say these days. Pice Greeter says, if I see that person that complained, I only greet, sorry, I plan on ignoring them. Yeah, just ignore them. That's the best thing really to do. Just ignore them. WW says, I have shirts that do stuff like that. Really? And you're not even in front of a green screen. Boom. WW like foul. What about foul? Dog in Paradise is here. I can't imagine. What kind of jerk complains about someone being nice? Yeah, just someone who is sad and pathetic, probably. Like I say, I think the best thing is just to ignore people like that, and they'll usually just go away. It's the same way with a troll. They're just only doing stuff to get reactions out of people. And if you don't react, they'll go away because they're gonna go to some other chat and try to get reactions. So really, and I'm not saying I'm perfect in that. I take the bait a lot of times with trolls, even though I know better, and I still do it sometimes. So, you know, maybe I'm not the best example, but I think the best thing is to just ignore them. And then you'll find out if they really are a troll or not. If it's just somebody who has a different opinion and they want to state their opinion, say they are in the minority of what the chat is, and you can usually tell, right? But they just want to express their opinions, and I have no problem with that. But people might think they're a troll or something, and let's just say people ignore them. Then that person, if it is a troll, is probably going to go away. But if they're not a troll, they might stick around and go and kind of rethink how they pose a question or how they, you know, what they would say in a post to still get their point across, but maybe not come off as being so trolly. You know what I mean? And then to me that shows like a real sincere person who's just trying to express their views, and they're not trying to just push people's buttons. You know what I mean? So anyhow, WW says, we love Teresa. She has been around since early on, just like me and Susie. Big Hook says, as in the dodo, extinct and dumb, but apparently tasty to some. Pice Grader, Dr. Pierce, I agree. Makes no sense. Obviously, they are in pain, or they are a pain in the butt and has no life. W says, sometimes I just get bored and say stupid shit. Yeah, I could see that from you. Nick Rich says, ignore them. Yeah, I think that's the best thing. But Mad Mac, I thought when the guy had sex... Okay, wait a minute. I know you're just fucking with me, but I'm I'm not taking any chances. I'm not reading the rest of that post. Say says, yeah, but Trucker John reacts if you talk about politics. Don't make me block you. So yeah. Big Hook says, I don't troll you, John. I just point things out. Oh, Big Hook, you're the biggest troll out there. No, I'm just kidding. I've never thought of you as being a troll. Dog Paradise says, I have a bad habit of sticking up for someone I feel is being bullied. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. Sometimes it encourages others to speak up. Yeah, and that's kind of a whole different issue about being bullied. Different than ignoring a troll. You know what I mean? Pisces Grader says, Doc in Paradise, I do not blame you. I do not like the bullies. I was bullied when I was very young due to being shy. WW says, I think that most folks I still have blocked are my friend Brian. He is a huge troll. Adam Welch says, don't tell John about the magical shoes. Okay. I know you guys are fucking with me. I'm not reading anymore though, just in case. Dog in Paradise says, Pisces Grader TK, me too, but then I became fierce. WW says, thanks for having my back, Doc. Big Cookie says, having a good sense of humor is essential if you want to survive in this cruel world. This cruel, cruel world. In a world where cruelness rules. Yeah, great sense of humor and a Glock. No, I'm just kidding. Pisces Reader says, Doc in Paradise, over the years I got more gutsy. Do not take crap if someone is being a pain and are wrong. Doc in Paradise, always W. WW says Riddle or Riddle, not exactly cleats, but soccer shoes. I printed them red and black. I mean, painted them red and black. Why? Were those just school colors or team colors or something? W says, I think that I saved them in a box. Ooh, you could put that in the West Webb Museum. There you go. Put those puppies in a nice glass case and have a little info card, you know, whatever. And like, these are the shoes I wore as a young soccer player. I painted them myself. Yeah, and you could have me do like a voiceover that like someone just like pushes a button at the case, at the display case of your shoes. And then I'd be like, these are the shoes worn by Wes Webb as a young man. He painted them himself, black and red. W says, yes, yay team, fight back. Dog Paradise, what is, it's like Rydell? I think it's only 1D, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, they made all kinds of sporting equipment. Nick Rich says, laughter might not be the best medicine, but it's the best suppository. Hal. I guess that was something that Hal said, maybe. Adam Washington says, Wes, are you digging in my closet? Big Hook says, tyrants' greatest enemy are journalists and comedians. Sadly, more people get their news now from comedians. How is the best mix of both? Ringing endorsement by Big Hook of Hal Sparks. WW says, don't tell, but I have an unworn pair of Jordan Originals. Ooh. Now you might have to put those in a safe. They might be worth who knows how much. WW says, I wore the other pair out. Adam Wedge says, black like a hole, black like your soul. Okay. Bad Max says, didn't Bob Marley sing whoop whoop? That's the sound of the bullies. That's what sound they make. Oh, it's police, he's saying. I don't know. I'm not really into Bob Marley all that much. WW says, laughing out loud. I'm not telling where they are hidden. Yeah, keep those babies secured away. Because they could be worth thousands of dollars, maybe. I don't know. W says, I don't like Bob Marley either. Now, it's not that I don't like Bob Marley. I'm just not really into Bob Marley. I'm not really into reggae music. Like reggae music. Like, sometimes it'll come on radio or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cool. But after I've heard one song, I'm pretty much done with my reggae. What is it? My reggae allotment or whatever for the year. You know, I mean, I'm pretty much done with reggae for about another year. About one reggae song a year is about all I need to get me through. WW says, would you call him Black Hole Sun? Mad Max says, I'm not a fan of reggae either. There you go. So I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. WW says, I love him. You love Bob Marley? But I just thought you said that you don't like Bob Marley. I don't know. Oh, you don't like him, you love him. Didn't they just come out with a movie? I didn't see the movie. Maybe I should see the movie. I kind of think maybe there's a lot of embellishment going on with his legacy or his image. He's probably not as great as everyone thinks he was or whatever. Big Hook says, remember the days when Levi's could land your ass in jail in certain Soviet bloc countries? I do not remember that. Probably because I just live here in the United States. Mad Mac, head like a hole, 9 Inch Nails? W says, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be all right. But we're just getting all musical now. Musical references. Mad Mac, that's not how my voice sounds. Did I copy your voice? Nick Ridge says, suspend your musical experience. I think my musical experience is pretty advanced, pretty expanded. I mean, I like anything from, well, mainly rock. Okay, I'll give you that. But, you know, I like some country. But I like, you know, classic rock. I like alternative rock. I like modern rock. And I like some country. That's about it. Maybe I think that's enough. You know, Fancy says, I like that Wait in Vain song by Marley. Nick Rich, I listen to jazz most of the day. I don't like jazz. There are some good jazz. I mean, every now and then, like, you'll hear something and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But again, it's like, I'm just not into it. Big Hook says, Mad Mac, any relation to the Road Warrior? Yeah, Mad Mac, that's Mad Max's little bro. At Mad Mac, yes, 9 Inch Nails. I think that's 9 Inch Nails, right? Nancy says, Led Zeppelin rules. Led Zeppelin does rule. Led Zeppelin is a great rock band of all time. I love me some Led Zeppelin. Dog in Paradise says, jazz feels too chaotic to me. Well, and there's different kinds of jazz. There's a freestyle jazz or whatever, where they just riff and do all kinds of weird shit. And then there's the jazz. It's more, you know, conventional, and it's just like that smooth jazz. You're like do 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 boop 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 whatever, you know. And either way, I don't need that. That's just, you know, it's all right, but Doesn't really do anything to me. Dog in Paradise says, and metal is too angry. And, you know, I like a little metal. I like a little metal. But, yeah, but it's kind of like, I feel like after a certain age, I mean, metal really is like teen angst and 20s angst. You know what I mean? And then after a while, it's like, you know, you just don't have those. At least for me, I just speak for myself. You know, you're just not all angsty anymore. You've lost your angst. So if I listen to some metal, you know, I can enjoy it, but I have to move on to other things. I can't just listen to metal like all day, you know. Let's see here. Mad Max says, I saw Led Zeppelin in 73. Epic, still have my ticket, cost $6.50. Those were the days. Sayhouse says, Bob Marley sings the most hopeful song, Hard Not to Love Marley. That's all he sings about. Yeah, I think he's full of shit. I think Bob Marley was full of shit. Max, Fancy says, I'm jealous, Mad Mac. Nick Rich says, don't reject music. Experience it. Big Hook says, metal is kind of like an expression of anger where you throw shit at the wall and call it art. I don't know about that. Pice Greer says, 56 Nick Rich, I love music since I was a little kid. Me too. Starting with the Beatles. I mean, I can remember being a little kid and walking home, being like in first grade, walking home with Katrina, her name was Katrina, and holding hands. We're like little first graders. And we would just walk home in those days by ourselves. No parents, no nothing. And walking home and holding her hand. And I'm singing, I want to hold your hand. And it was really cute. I'm sure it was a cute image, you know. Price Greer says, 50 years, I love music. Oh, I got rid of that. Dog in Paradise says, 50 years. Dog in Paradise, at 56 Nick Rich says, that's the problem with me and music. It affects me so much that it changes my emotions. So mad music is not healthy or pleasing. To you, but it can be a good release, a good way to release some of that maybe pent up anger. You know, maybe that's a good thing. Pice Greeter says, my husband loves the Beatles since he was young. Me too. Albus Tube, Godsmack and Shinedown, my favorite. Godsmack, I love Godsmack. And Shinedown's good too. Mad Max says, my mom didn't want me to listen to the Beatles, but that made it forbidden fruit, and I listened as much as I could. Why would your mom not want you to listen to the Beatles? That's just not right. That's just not right, man. Nick Rich says, my oldest brother played guitar and sang country before I was born, always music around. I was going to do it the correct way and say music was always around. Big Hook says, music is an expression of emotion and with lyrics and explanation of the human experience. Dog in Paradise says, I have no pent-up anger. That's what's there to be angry about. Well, if you don't know, then God bless you. Just good for you. Sayhouse says, I like all music, different types makes me feel different ways. I steer clear of classical. It tends to piss me off. Now, I don't know if you're joking, because sometimes sarcasm and stuff like that is hard to pick up sometimes. But because classical, I don't know how that could piss anybody off. And I do like to listen to some classical every now and then. I probably couldn't tell you who they are. I can't go, oh, that's Bach, or whatever. But I like to listen to some classical. Dr. Paradise says, well said. A big hook, big hook. Yes, it was so well said. Patrick Greer says, say how, same here. From the 60s and on, and classical, some hard rock. Mad Max says, because it was jungle music and it made kids go crazy, that was the establishment thought back in the day. Wow. You know what I always say? Fuck the establishment. Fancy says, I have some pent-up anger. I blame Trump. There you go. Doc in Paradise says, there are classical composers who intend to piss you off. I never took it that way. Nick Rich says, I downloaded a radio app, radio from around the world. From around the world. With the apps. The musical apps. We go around and around and around the world. Big Hook says, Hooked on Classic is a great little ditty of the composers. Pisces Greeter says, sounds good. Blame Trump. I blame Trump for a lot of shit. I blame Trump for adding about 10 years to my age prematurely, if that made sense. Tim Farrell says, I was in Jamaica years ago and asked the locals about Bob Marley. They adored him, but the common comment from them was that Bob Marley music teaches children. Dick Rich says, the music from Ukraine is great. If you like that sort of thing. Doc in Paradise says, Mad Mac, also people said there were hidden meetings and playing the records backwards were satanic. I think that came a little later. That backward masking stuff or whatever. I mean, I remember that in the 70s, people talking about that a lot. And then actually doing it. Taking a chance of ruining my records, trying to hear where it was like, Satan is God or whatever. I mean, you can hear almost anything when you play something backwards, It was like, oh, I think I heard it. It said Satan. Wasn't like if you played, was it Stairway to Heaven backwards or something? And you'd be like, you could hear like, well, the Beatles did flirt with backward masking. I think was it the White Album? And that was late 60s. So that the topic had been around, and I think that they were playing around with it just to fuck with people. Isn't there one where it says like Paul is dead or something? Nick Rich says, try thinking backwards. Are you like DJ T? I don't know. Mad Max says, Beatles song number 9 said, turn me on, dead man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of funny. Kind of weird stuff. I'm looking at the back of my helmet. I'm back of my helmet, back of my hat to see what you guys are talking about. This translucent part. Anyhow, I'm seeing if I grew a brain or not. In the meantime, Big Hook says anything that threatens the monopoly that religion has on people will be criticized. Yes, you must not threaten the monopoly of the religion. You must not, or we will criticize you. I think I'm out of coffee. Good to the last drop. And it's not even Folgers. It's some Keurig thing. I don't even know what it is. Mad Max says, I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. You had to turn it up real loud as the song faded away. Seha says, no classical music pisses me off. Nothing worse than listening to the same note and chord over and over. Again, in multiple octaves over and 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 over. And I hope I'm not being too annoying. Uh-oh. This is so weird. Siri. Uh-oh. Go away, Siri. I know something had popped up on my phone here, my Apple Watch, about octaves, and then Siri came in because I said Siri's name, so I don't even know what happened to it. The devices are listening to us, folks. The devices are listening. Every single one of them. So, if you're, it which kind of comes in handy, if you're thinking about looking for a new couch or a new recliner, for instance, like I kind of am, or whatever you're looking for, just start talking about it, and then your phone will all of a sudden start sending you a bunch of ads to those things, or places to look those things up. So it kind of comes in handy, you know, if the phone is listening to you and grabbing keywords, you know. Kind of comes in handy. Kind of helps save a step in your search for items. Alvin Stoob says music is a mind alteration drug in itself. Hey, James Hermios here says I thought it was Maxwell House. Oh, is it Maxwell House? Good to the last drop. I think you're right. See, James, it took me saying the wrong coffee to bring you out into the chat. That's why I say the shit that I do, to try to draw you guys out. Well, thanks for being here, James. Good to see you. Jolie says, sorry I disappeared. I think I got my dad too high. Had to set him up with some good stuff to watch on TV. Getting your dad high. I see the method to your madness there. Doc in Paradise says, B-52's put I buried my parakeet in the backyard. Oh no, you're playing the record backward. Watch out, you might ruin your needle on a song. Fancy says, welcome back, Jolie. Welcome back. Carrie C says, better get him some food too at Jolie. Yeah, get him some munchies. Mad Max says, I almost became a professional classical guitarist, but I was playing too much football, soccer, that's what it is, it's soccer. And that was the crossroads in my life. I would have quit the classical guitar and just went to rock guitar. That's what I would have done. I would have been like the next Johnny Million. Big Hook says, that's why I will never allow an Amazon Echo device anywhere near me. But it's not just Amazon Echo. It's everything. I mean, your smartphone is listening. Your Apple Watch is listening. Your iPad is listening. Your TV is listening, for God's sakes. If it's hooked up to, like mine's a Fire Stick thing, an Amazon Fire Stick TV, right? So it's all hooked up. They hear everything. But I don't think it's like hearing like it's not set up where they're not listening to, you know, your conversations. They're just, I think there's an algorithm or whatever that just picks up keywords like, I want to look at a new truck, or I want to buy a new house. And then all of a sudden you're going to get flooded with, you know, real estate ads and truck ads. You know, I think it just has a way of just picking out key kind of product type things. I don't think it's like going, oh, John said that he picks his ass on Tuesdays or whatever. I'm going to send that to the National Enquirer. Mad Max says, I almost became a professional. Oh, I read that already. Big Hook says that Mad Max, so you became a hooligan. Just kidding. Nick Rich says, my Google Pixel is always on. Mad Max says, no, I played in front of hooligans, though. Laughing out loud. Yeah, the hooligans are the fans, right? Not the players. Big Hook says, in total agreement, Mad Mac. I'm in total agreement with you, Mad Mac. We are simpatico. Dog in Paradise says, classical guitar is gorgeous, and I love it. Dog in Paradise loves some classical guitar. James Jaramillo says that Mad Mac. What's up, brother? What's up? brother. Excuse me while I take a drink of water. Alrighty. I think the coffee may have dehydrated me a bit. I'm feeling a bit thirsty. I am feeling a bit on the thirsty side. Fancy says, Doc, I was listening to Portuguese guitar and it was so beautiful. Mad Max says, hey, Big Daddy, James Hermia, what's up? Of course, I always think of that, was that Budweiser commercial? Billy Cook says, hydration before you pull a hammy. That's true. Hydrating is important when it comes to that, yeah. But we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet about the hammy. The hammy is yummy. I don't know. Speaking of that, though, I guess I'll do a walk today. At a little while from now, maybe around 3 p.m. I think I'll go do a walk, a live stream from the Strip. So if you guys want to join me for that, that'd be fun. We'll see, we'll pick up from where we left off, which will be right at the Wynn on Las Vegas Boulevard. And I think I'm going to take it all the way down to Sahara if I fill up to it. And then turn around and come on back. So here's what we'll see. We'll see the Wynn, we'll see Encore, we'll see Fontainebleau, we'll see the Sahara. We'll get kind of a long shot of the Strat from the corner. Come back, we'll see Circus and Resorts World, and then back to the Wynn. So that should be interesting. And then tomorrow, I think I'm going to, tomorrow's Wednesday. I think I'm going to go down to California. I want to pull some stuff out of my storage. I want to start emptying that out. So I was thinking about making a run down there to do that. Big Hook says bananas are helpful as well. Yeah, the potassium, I guess, is good for preventing muscle cramps, I think. 56, a walkabout. Well, yes, we'll go on a walkabout on the Strip. A Strip walkabout. Hey, Bonnie Thompson's here. Thanks, Bonnie Thompson, for coming on in. Do appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and hit the share button. And we are at 1,680 some odd subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing. My goal, of course, is 100,000. So we got to get on it. Let's get on it, people. Seha says, talk about your dog's dog treat ads show up. Oh, talk about your dog and the dog treat ads show up. There you go. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Bonnie Thompson says, I'm kind of freaked out about walking my neighborhood because of dogs. So walking in my apartment is the best option. And now I've just said dogs a whole bunch of times, so I probably will get some dog-related advertising showing up in my phone, in my feeds, whatever. Dog in Paradise says, Seha, you can turn it off in settings by denying apps access to your microphone. Yes, that's true. That's probably the best way to combat that, right? I don't know why my phone is all of a sudden talking to me. Weird. The thing is listening. This Apple Watch is listening. Because I was reading that chat, that post about turning it off in settings, and then this thing came up about how you can turn stuff off in your settings. So my Apple Watch is definitely listening. It's listening hard today. Very, very closely listening. Jolie says, I just started a walk right now, trying to get it in before the rain comes. Oh, you got some rain on the way, huh? So yeah, get that in before the rain comes. Big Hook says, a little pissed at Randy for using Timo yesterday. She knows better. I know. I listened to that too. as soon as she started talking about Temu, the first thing I thought was Hal Sparks, you know, and I was thinking like, Randy, Hal's not going to appreciate you shopping at Temu. He says not. He says that's just crap that you shouldn't buy. But Randy knows that. She knows it's crap, but it's just so cheap that if it's crap, then it's crap, and you just throw it away, I guess. And whatever use you get out of it it's probably, you know, for the $5 you spend on it, you know, how can you complain if you got, you know, some use out of it? Barney Thompson says, my phone is always listening. Yeah, I think so. Say how says, Dr. Paradise, oh yeah, I know it works something rough. Any mic, though, headsets, phones, anything hooked to the net. Nick Rich says, do we actually own these devices and our information? Well, I guess you sign them away when you agree to that terms of service. Doc in Paradise says, Seha and Siri. Fancy says, I love Temu. Now, I have to admit, I've never ordered anything from Temu, but I've seen some of their products, and it does intrigue me. And then I have to remember, like, oh wait, this is probably just really, you know, stupid crap or whatever. But I don't know. There's some stuff on there that you see and that looks kind of handy, you know, kind of useful. So, you know, just as long as the stuff doesn't have lead in it or something, then maybe I'm all right. Doc says, how say Temu is malware? I get what the site you order from would be malware, maybe. I don't think the actual stuff is malware. I think maybe the website that you go to is malware, maybe. Say has a Doug in Paradise, any mic. Doug, say how says, oh yeah, and then Doug in Paradise says plus slave labor goods. Oh yes, that's true. That's right. Thanks, Doc, for that clarification. That's an important part of it. Yeah. That's probably the main thing, probably the main issue that Hal has with it. Big Hook says, I am afraid I am guilty of using today's instant gratification structure. I am getting better, though. Better at not using it? Is that what that means? Alvin Sue says, Temu has dirt cheap cones. Cones? Like ice cream cones? Or like a cone... like a road cone? Fancy says, I have no problems with them. Dog in Paradise says, Seha, it would be so bored with me. I often go all day without speaking at all. Tara gave me RSV. Tara Dublin? Tara Devlin? What's RSV? I don't even know what RSV is. James Armino says, I have a friend at work who shops on Temu. She dresses outrageously on holidays. Definitely a head turner. Wow. Big Hook. Impulse buys, I ignore. And Alvis Dude retracted a message. So yeah. I guess I've never ordered anything from Temu, although, like I said, I've been intrigued by some of the stuff. But I probably won't be buying anything from there. I don't know. Fancy says, heck yeah, James, laughing out loud. Fancy. Elvis Tubes for Bud, TJ. For Bud? Okay. Nick Rich says, live within your means and save for rainy days. That is some sage advice, my friends. My water looks invisible, which I guess it is. But yeah, that's good advice, Nick. Definitely save for those rainy days, because they will be a coming. They always do. So, You should save for them. Anywho, what else is going on, guys? Let's see. So we talked a little bit about Trump and his trial, and how long this is going to take. I don't think they've even gotten any jury members yet. That's going to take forever, because everybody they've, I guess, gone through the interview process has said that they can't give a what is it? I don't know, like non-biased opinion or whatever. They don't really clarify that, but I'm guessing it's like either way. I mean, whether you're either a maggot, or if you're a Trump hater. I think they're getting people from both sides, and they both say I don't think I can give an objective reading here of this proceeding. So they're having a hard time doing that. But eventually they'll get it. Nick Rich says, Seha says, Trucker John Temu product for $5 equals $4 in shipping, 50 cents in product, 48 cents in profit, 1 cent in child labor. If that, for the child labor. Fancy says, I should save, but I'm a shopaholic. Well, far be it from me to tell anybody anything about finances. I'm a total fuck up when it comes to finances and money, and for some reason it just goes through my fingers, and I really end up having nothing to show for it. I don't know where it goes. It just goes. And I've known people that make the same amount of money as me, and who have beautiful houses, and they've got nice cars, they go on nice vacations, because somehow they're able to save their money and to get these things. And we make the same amount of money. And here I am living in this dumpy apartment. Anyhow, with barely anything saved up or anything. James Jaramillo says, Fancy, for Easter, she wore a costume looking like she was riding a rabbit. St. Patrick's Day was piggyback on a leprechaun. Laughed my ass off. That's funny. Nick Rich says, the younger you are when you abandon vices, the better you'll be. Wait. Oh, the younger you abandon. So, or like the earlier that you abandoned vices, the better you'll be. Yeah, that makes sense. The longer something goes on, the more you're digging yourself in a hole, Fancy says, I'd like to see that. Yeah, those costumes sound funny. They sound outrageous. No, I don't know. But anywho, let me straighten the old cap, the old thinking cap here. Okay, so what else? We're talking about, all we talked about is Trump today and your guys' chats. But what else is going on? Anything else going on? It seems like everyone's just waiting for this trial, to see how it comes out and everything. I really hope they put that motherfucker in jail, though, I really do. I don't give a fuck about Secret Service and all that shit. Just put his ass in jail. You can put the Secret Service in the cell with him for all I care. Well, he needs to go to jail. That's what I'd like to see. And have you seen him? He just looks like he looks like he's aged 10 years. Finally, in just the last few months. The guy is hating life, and that's a good thing. If he is just fucking hating life, and I hope he hates life for the rest of his miserable life. He's a miserable, no good piece of crap. And so whatever he gets as far as convictions and jail time and fines, he deserves all. And if he dies penniless, he deserves that. He deserves to die penniless and end up in a pauper's grave. You know. Fancy says his eyes were all puffy, like he has been crying. Yeah, either that or just lack of sleep. I don't think he's sleeping at all. And then he goes. That's why he's dozing off in the courtroom. Nick Rich says, rumor has it that a jury was selected today. Just a rumor. Well, I don't know. I haven't been watching too much because I've been on here, and so I hadn't heard. But I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Keith Polite says, what did Jared get for $2 billion? Was it 2 or 3 billion? For the Saudis, inquiring minds want to know. Well, he got the $2 billion. That's what he got. But what did he give to get the $2 billion or $3 billion? And what he gave were those presidential daily bulletins that Trump never bothered to read. And but Jared would grab them up and send him over to his buddy over there, that dude over there, and whatever else he can give him. He gave him. I think he was just feeding him intel, giving away secrets, government secrets. So that's another motherfucker that should be in jail, because that's, to me, that's treason. You know, Jared Kushner is another traitor, just like Trump is a traitor. And that's another thing we need to just keep emphasizing. That Donald Trump is a traitor. And his whole family, all of them, Junior, Eric, even Ivanka, whatever, they're all traitors. They don't give a fuck about America. All they care about is how much money they can make and just being rich and rich and rich and rich and rich and rich and rich. And I don't mind. I'd like to be rich. But my God, these people they put everything over the country. They put everything above the country and democracy. So they're disgusting. They're filthy. And as far as I'm concerned, the whole family should be thrown in jail. At least, talking about Eric and Junior and Ivanka and Jared and, of course, Donald Trump himself. They should all be thrown in prison. You talk about crime family. Everything that comes out of Trump's mouth, it really is just projection. Every time he calls like the Biden crime family, or now he calls Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, and we see Biden nodding off in court. Everything he does is projection, right? And when he's standing up there going, Joe Biden is the worst president in the history of the country, that is total projection, because he knows that he's been rated as the worst. And he is the worst, in my opinion, that we've ever had. All time worst is Donald Trump. So he just projects and projects. And then when he says, that we're a failed country and a nation in decline and all this bullshit, that is just such bullshit that makes you know that the more he puts down and attacks Joe Biden's economy, the more I know that the economy is doing the right thing. Because Donald Trump doesn't know anything about economics. He doesn't know anything about, all he knows about is how to grift and rip people off. That's all he does. So when he doesn't know anything about how to run a government, how to run an economy. And so the more he complains about this Biden boom, the more I know it's working. Because he doesn't want anyone to think that things have turned around, that we've got the lowest unemployment rates in decades. Wages are up. The GDP is up. Everything's going up. Jobs is creating jobs like a motherfucker. And Trump does not want anyone to know that, especially MAGA and especially Republicans that he's trying to get votes from, and independents that he's trying to get votes from. He doesn't want anyone to know that this economy is raging and it's due to the Biden policies. So it just, every time I hear Trump railing about how horrible the economy is, what a nation decline we are, the more I know that the economy is booming and Joe Biden's policies are working. Otherwise, he wouldn't be hammering it so much. Keith Lee. Oh wait. Big Cook says no golf would be greatest punishment. Yeah, no golf. Like I say, someone said they should lock him in his tower. Lock him in the tower. Go ahead, give him a house arrest in Trump Tower. But no internet access, no golfing. There should be they should have a jail guard there to supervise. Like make sure he can't leave, he can't do anything. Maybe he just gets some time in the day room or whatever, and where he can watch TV for a couple hours. But everything would be controlled by a jailhouse guard. Dogman says no Adderall bumps. Yeah, no Adderall bumps. Keith Fleet Preach Joan. Picnics, I deleted the name. James Hermino, that's being polite. Doc in Paradise, potential jurors returned to the Manhattan courtroom and faced questioning, initially from the judge and now from lawyers in the case. No jury yet. Yeah, so they have to go through the process. Now the lawyers get to ask questions of the jurors, and then if they don't like it, they can strike or whatever the term is, but they can just keep booting out jurors that they don't like. Dick Rich vote Dark Brandon. Sayhouse says he didn't get $2 billion. He has control of the $2 billion in an investment account. He's a caretaker of the funds. I'd like to be a caretaker of $2 billion. Fancy no drugs. Jolie says, I just don't ever want... Yeah, no drugs. No drugs for him. That's right. But no Adderall and shit. Jolie says, I just don't ever want to hear Trump's stupid voice again. However, that is accomplished is fine by me. Oh, however that is accomplished is fine by me. Yeah, really. And I think the judge, Judge Merchan, needs to toss his ass in jail for violating that gag order. Because he keeps coming out. Trump keeps coming out and talking shit, man, about the judge and about his family. If I was a judge, I'd toss him in the fucking jail. I don't give a fuck about Secret Service. Toss this motherfucker in the jail. Nick Rich says Donnie won't have much property left to even consider house arrest. Yeah, that's the thing. Will he even have Trump Tower to put him in? Because that might get, taken away to pay for those fines. And we just see what a scam artist he is, or what a liar he is. Always saying that he's a billionaire. He's been saying he's a billionaire for years and years, and I don't think he's even a billionaire. I don't know. I think everything he does, even if he raises millions of dollars, he just blows through it. Here he is, a 78-year-old guy or whatever. He's never learned a lesson about how to manage some money, about how to manage his finances enough to where he isn't always on thin ice, I think, financially. So he's always coming up with these schemes, hatching these schemes. He gets rich, he was already rich because he inherited it from his dad, hundreds of millions of dollars. But he just can't not blow his money. And so I don't think he's a billionaire. Like even if he sold everything right now that he has, if he liquidated everything, I don't know, would he be worth even $1 billion? I don't know. But definitely not as rich as he says he is, because he's always scrambling for cash. He's always coming up with schemes to come up with some cash. He's very cash poor, at least. Nick Rich says Donnie won't have much Oh yeah, I already read that one. That was what put me on that little thing there. Keith Police says the Vaudoir process will take time in seating a jury. Jury. Yeah, I guess it might be the whole week. I don't know. Because today's Tuesday. It might be the whole rest of this week. Maybe trying to once the lawyers go through and they're like the defense might like it, but then the prosecutor might not, and then vice versa. You know, and there really isn't any. I mean, all it is all they have to do is say that they don't want that one, and that's it. There's really no reason. They don't even have to have a reason. Joey says he spends all of it on legal fees. He's always getting sued or suing someone for decades. Yeah, he has how many? Like, I think hundreds and hundreds of cases that he's been involved in. Because he's just a grifter. If he would just, just think if he had just operated honestly, he could be so much richer, probably. But instead, he's like just trying to cheat people out of every little thing he could. He's a horrible person. And please, people out there, I know probably no one in my chat has voted for him, or maybe very few, but just in general, the voting populace out there, please stop wasting your vote on human excrement like Donald Trump. Please stop doing that. We don't need to even entertain the thought of having such a horrible person in the White House. And see, that's the thing. That's another thing. Trump is such a horrible person. So they have to paint this picture of Biden being a horrible person. And so they doctor up videos, they put videos out of context where it looks like he's sleeping, or it looks like he's walking the wrong way, or it looks like he's sniffing someone's hair, or it looks like he's being inappropriate somehow. But all that stuff has been debunked that I've seen. And that's just another thing of Trump and the Trump campaign, the Trump followers just projecting Trump's awfulness, onto Biden. And really what you have is you have a really, in Biden, I think you have a really genuine, nice, good person. And so if you're a Trump follower or a Trump supporter, I think somewhere deep down in your heart, that Trump's a piece of shit. Then the only reason you're supporting him is because you're a Republican and you want Republicans in power. And I can kind of relate to that because I'm a Democrat and I want Democrats in power. But that doesn't mean that when we have a shitty one that we're going to keep supporting him, like Anthony Weiner. Turned out to be a fucking pervert weirdo who was doing inappropriate things with underage girls. So we said, "Fuck you, you're gone," and he's gone. I think we went a little overboard with Al Franken, quite frankly, but there were some issues there, and he was gone. Now we need to get rid of Menendez. No one likes him. We don't like him. The Democrats don't like him. We want that guy gone because we know what a fucking corrupt piece of shit he is. So when we have pieces of shit, most of us are in favor of flushing them. But for them, for the Republicans, when they have a piece of shit, they think that the shit is a piece of gold. And then, but deep down in their hearts, say, no, it's really a piece of shit. It's just, maybe they spray painted gold over it. But they know deep down, he's still just a piece of shit. So then they have to project that onto whatever the opponent is, whether it's Hillary Clinton, whether it's Joe Biden, whomever it's going to be. So then they have to project that shit onto that person. So it's just all projection, and it's all bullshit. Fancy says, what does he spend all his money on? Well, like Jolie was saying, legal fees. He spends a lot of it on legal fees. And then he probably just throwing lavish parties at Mar-a-Lago and just, traveling to
play golf all the time. I don't know. And I guess Adderall. But I bet you the bulk of it goes to those legal fees because he's always in court, like Jolie says, for decades, because he stiffs people. And the people are saying they're trying to get their money because he will contract them to do construction jobs or, whatever, and then not pay them. So then he gets sued, and then he does all these things. He spends, but when you think about it, all the money he spends on lawyers' fees, it would have been just cheaper just to pay the people in the first place. This is what an idiot this guy is. Keith Lee says he won't make it through the entire trial without soiling himself. Oh, I'm sure he's soiled himself already. I think that's a constant. I was reading a thing about Maggie Haberman. I think it was was it Heather Cox Richardson? I always read her every day. She puts out a little daily little piece, and she's really good. She's a great writer. She can very succinctly in a few paragraphs, talk about the history of, the Civil War or whatever. I mean, she's such a great writer. And I think she was mentioning in last night's her article, talking about how Maggie Haberman, I guess, is in the court, and she's the one that reported about Trump dozing off, or it looked like he was falling asleep. But she also said that she described, this is I think Haberman describing the courtroom as being this sort of dank kind of, dingy courtroom or something. And then she said she had a smell, and she just said that it was off. The way she described it, she said, it just has a smell that's kind of off. And she was saying that was about the courtroom. But my first thought was, no, Maggie, that's not the courtroom. That's fucking Trump. And you're just lucky enough you're far enough away that you can't tell that it's his fucking diaper, and you're just kind of smelling the whole courtroom has this sort of just off smell to it. And so I'm thinking, no, yeah, Maggie, that's not the courtroom. That's fucking Trump in his fucking diaper, filling his diaper. And again, look, there are people that have issues that have to wear adult diapers, that have incontinence. And I'm not bagging on those people. I'm bagging on Trump because Trump is the one that makes fun of handicapped people. He's the one that makes fun of anyone that has what he would think is a weight problem, and here he is, a big old fat dude. But he'll make fun of people who have, weight issues. He makes fun of people about their looks. And Donald Trump, to me, is not that great of a looking guy. He has no room to talk. Even when he was younger, he looks better than he does now, but I don't think he was ever like a handsome dude, I think he's weird, creepy looking. But he makes fun of people's looks. So when you do that, like he does, that opens him up to criticism. So I'm not, criticizing anyone that has an incontinence problem. That could happen. But he's had it, and apparently for a long, long time, like since his 40s or 50s, when that's what Kassler or whatever that guy talks about, when he worked on The Apprentice, going back, that show goes back 20 years ago. So, and Trump was in his 50s then, right? So, and he was having to wear a diaper then. So he's been doing some stuff, and people are blaming that on his whatever drug he's snorting, whether it's Adderall or whatever it is, but he must be doing massive amounts of it if it's at the age of 50s. In his 50s, he's had such an incontinence problem that he's had to wear an adult diaper. But anyhow, it's all about, he brings that criticism on himself since he is so critical of others. So he deserves it. Carrie C says Biden is live in Scranton right now. Scranton, good old Scranton. James Jaramillo says they protect him. Steve Sayers is here. Steve says it's not Trump's money. Steve Sayre says, Haba got paid from Trump. Rudy did not. You think Haba gave it up to Trump? Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know, but I wouldn't doubt it. So I guess Rudy wasn't giving it up. But Haba, someone was showing videos. Was it Tony Michaels or about how she was partying it up, man? She's whooping up with all the money she's been getting, taking friends on these trips and giving them these big swag bags full of expensive gifts. So she's living it up. She's living it up, man. Keith Lee, poor Barron. Yeah, poor Barron. I feel sorry for Barron, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know. Hopefully, not that Melania is that great of a person either. I think she's a real fucking piece of work. But hopefully, she can at least maybe get. I think she's been kind of separating Barron from Dawn, and maybe she can get the hell out and try to raise him away from Trump. I don't know. Who knows? It's not my problem, I guess. Not my concern. But you know, the other one was his other daughter. Like, was it Stephanie or whatever her name is? She seems to keep out of limelight and separate herself from all their dealings. So she's kind of smart in that regard. Other than that, I don't know much about her, but I mean, she seemed to not get involved in all the bullshit. Maybe Barron will do that too. I don't know, but maybe not. Maybe he'll someday be the next big Trump leader or whatever. Dick Rich says, "What accent does Barron have?" I don't know. Are you being rhetorical? He's born and raised in America, so he has an American accent. But I don't know. I shouldn't even say, because I've never heard the kid talk. So as far as I know, he might not even be able to talk. I don't know. Tiffany, says Jason. Yeah, Tiffany, not Stephanie. Tiffany. There's like a inany in the back. On there. Sayhouse says, too many keys. I don't know what that means. Dog in Paradise says, Haba has been changing her looks to look more like Ivanka. And that's another thing. You know, I don't know, you know, plastic surgery ain't cheap. Other things that they do isn't cheap either. So, yeah, I think she's been getting paid, I guess. Nick Rich, I never heard him talk either. Jolie says, my dad has officially hit the munchies phase. Uh-oh. All right, well, here we are. We're over 2 hours and 22 minutes now. But it seems like I just looked at the clock and it wasn't even at 2 hours yet. Now we're almost at 2.5 hours. So, yeah, and it's 11:50. I know a lot of people like to go over and watch Randy Rhoads at 12:06. Actually, 12, but, you know, she doesn't really come on until 12:06. If you guys do go to Randy Rhoads, you guys should give me a shout out in the Randy Rhoads chat room. Just say, you can just say, like, this is Trucker John Raid over there at the Randy Rhoads truck room. Yeah, I'm taking over the chat over there. That chat will become the Trucker John chat room at Randy Rhoads. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, if you go over there, just maybe give me a shout out. You know, I know there's a few people in there. They know who I am. I know Randy knows who I am too, by the way. She knows me. So give me a shout out over there. I'll probably see you in there. I'll probably do that. And then I'm going to get ready for my walk at 3. I think I'm going to try to do a walk today. And so if you guys are not doing anything else, just go ahead and come on in, and we'll walk together down the strip. And that'll be about 3, I guess, about 3 p.m. Pacific time. Remember, you guys got to remember, I'm always in the Pacific time. So here it is. It's almost noon. That gives me almost 3 hours to really, you know, stretch, get loose, get limber, all that good stuff, you know, because God knows I did not want to pull a hammy. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you at 3 p.m. I know the mic is still on. You guys heard that. Bless my little soul.